Hey, 107 folks. I thought I would give you another short video today just to talk about a couple of things that I know that you guys are struggling with right now. And I thought I would go over 4 things really quick just to kind of walk you through them and give you an idea on how to start. I know that I talked to some of you about this, but I thought maybe having a video that is designed for us would help you. So I'm going to talk to you about how to copy over my items over into your course. How to make a quiz for your course, or in Canvas, we call them quizzes, and that could be an exam, a quiz, a homework, practice, like basically anything that the students are taking online. So we call all of those quizzes in Canvas. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how to edit my questions. I know that some of my questions aren't the best necessarily for your class, so if you want to change a word or you don't like the wording of one of the questions, I'll show you how to edit those. And then I'll show you also how to change a quiz for how to suit the DSPS students need, like if they need extra time or an extra attempt or who knows what. I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so let's pretend that you're in your course right now. I just have some random one of my courses open right now, some development shell of mine. But let's pretend that you're in your course right now and you want to copy over stuff from my course. The thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to Settings. And once you're in Settings, you're going to go to Import Course Content. And you're going to select Copy a Canvas Course. And the Canvas course that you're going to copy from is mine. So the one that I'm sharing with all of you and the one that I'm working on, the CRN for it is 22420. So make sure that you kind of write down that number or keep it safe or label it somehow for you so you know that's the one that you want. And you're not gonna copy over all my content. I mean, you're of course welcome to do that, but you really just want to select the specific content that you need and then click Import. And this will, of course, give you an opportunity to select which content you want. And for most of you, I know that the valuable thing to copy over are the question banks. This is the one that's going to save you a lot of time. And you can copy over basically all of these. Of course, you're welcome to all of them. But let's pretend that you just want to copy over the enzyme questions, right? The test bank for the enzyme quiz that we just completed the lab for. So I'm going to select that one. Only, again, you can select whatever you want. And this is going to import it into your course. Now this never takes more than like 10 seconds. So hopefully, there you go. See, done. Great. So now you have my test bank, but now you want to make your own quiz. So you could copy my quiz over and amend it if you like, that's fine. But let's just say that you want to make up your own quiz. So you're going to go to quiz. So what else did I tell you I was going to do? Let me just quick. How to make a quiz. Great. Okay. So you're going to go over to quizzes. And you're going to want to add a quiz. And when you do this, you'll notice that you have basically 2 tabs here, details and questions. So the way that I tell people how to approach this, the details are the parameters of the exam or the quiz or the homework or whatever it is that you're assigning. So how do you want the students to interact with this? And then the questions are, of course, the actual questions. So you can make these whatever you want, right? So this will be lab quiz number 6. You can name it however you like. Here's where you're going to give the students all of the instructions, good luck, this is over a quiz, have your lab manual handy, blah, blah, blah. Down here, you don't really want to mess with these unless unless you want to make a practice quiz for students, you can do that, or take a survey. Don't really mess with those. If it's a graded quiz, if you want this to actually be graded, keep it at graded quiz, keep it at assignments. You don't really want to mess with those things. I recommend that you shuffle the answers because then all the students will get different, it'll be in different order for every student. That way it kind of limits cheating. If you want to put a time limit on it, you can put time limit on it. Let's say that we're going to put a time limit of 10 minutes. If you want to allow multiple attempts, you can do that here. You can say that, let's say that we're going to allow them to take 2 attempts. And you can also tell Canvas if you want the highest one accepted into their grade book, the last one they took, or the average. I always do the highest. You can make up your own mind on that. I also recommend here, this is kind of important, I would not allow students to see answers online. If they want to go over their questions with you, they can zoom in and you can set up a meeting where you can talk through their answers with them, but I wouldn't necessarily allow them to see quiz responses at all. One option you can do is to allow the students, let students see the correct answers. So you can allow them to see the correct answers after a certain time. So you can show the correct answers. Let's say that this is due next Friday. You can, on the 27th, you can say, okay, we'll allow them to see the answers after March 27th. Another possibility is to show only one question at a time. I've found that students don't really like this. It's tedious to have to click back and forth through an exam, but if that's something you choose, then that's fine. I also would not recommend either of these requiring an access code or an IP address. There's no sense in them since we have an online asynchronous course. There's really no reason to do those. And you want to assign it to everyone. Here's where you're going to put in a due date. So let's say that it is due on the 27th, the end of the day. Something to also think about is to try to make all of your stuff due in an online course on the same day, right? So or on the same day of the week, right? So everything's now due on a Friday. If you make lots of due dates, do all the, one thing's due Tuesday, one thing's due Thursday, and different times, students are going to get confused really fast and they're not going to know what is due when. Okay. So now we've set up the parameters of the quiz. So now this is the big one, right? We want to go to questions. So you want to borrow my questions. So you're going to go, so you have two options here. You can either create a new question group, which is basically a random group of questions that Canvas is going to pull from a test bank, or you can find specific questions in all the test banks that you have. So let's find questions first. So you're going to see I have a ton of test banks because this is how I organize all my things, and I can find the 107 enzyme questions. So I'm going to select specific questions out of this test bank. So let's say that I really like these three. So I'm going to select those and I'm going to add questions. So I now have those three questions, and notice that they're in a very specific order. And this is the order that students will see them on their quiz. So you'll see all three of these questions. Notice that you can also edit the question here in this test bank or in this quiz, which is really nice. So if you want to change it here, or change one of the answers or add another distractor, you can do that. So this is the way that you can, also it's nice to show the question details because then you can see all the options. You can see the answers and you can kind of check them one last time before publishing your quiz for students. Okay, so that's a way to add questions individually. So now let's say that you don't necessarily need to do that. I'm gonna just clear these out to make it a little bit easier. There you go. So now let's say that you want to add a question group. So you click on new question group and you're going to link this group to a question bank. So again, let's scroll through all my many, here we go. Chapter 6. And, oh, hold on a second. I want to see really quick how many questions are in there. Chapter 6 quiz questions, 26. Oh, this isn't the enzyme lab. Oh, that's okay. Okay, so we're still, chapter 6 quiz questions. So there's 26 possible questions here that we can pull from. So here we're going to you can label this group if you want, like chapter 6. I don't see, it doesn't really do you any good. But you can if you want to keep organized. And then the only thing is that you can't tell the computer to pick more questions than you have, right? So you can't put in 27 questions. So let's say that you want the quiz to randomly select 10 questions from that question group. And then you want to set it at 2 points per question. And you create a question group. And that's it. You're done. So now your quiz, if you notice, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. You'll notice now that this quiz is now worth 20 points because you have 10 questions, right? And they're 2 points per question. If you save and publish this, you can now preview it, right? So you have the title of your lab, of your quiz. You have the instructions to the students. It tells the students exactly what they need to do to take this exam. And you can, of course, also preview this test by clicking on preview. And so you can kind of scroll through, make sure that everything looks good, that if you have any pictures, the pictures are displaying properly, and so on. So what I want to show you now is how, what else? I keep forgetting what I told. Oh, I'm going to show you how to edit too. Okay, so what I want to show you now is how to moderate this quiz. So now you have this quiz set up for all your students, but imagine if your student needs 2 times or 1.5 times or something like this, right? So, I don't know if this is going to work for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this little link here that says moderate this quiz. And when you click on that, you're going to see all of your students in the class, right? There'll be a big long list of all your students. You're going to go to your student. This is one of my development shells, so I don't really have it, a list of students, but you're going to click on this pencil next to the student that you have. And then here's where you can give them anything that they need. So if they need an extra attempt, they can put it in here. If they have, if they need extra time, notice that it says extra time. So if everyone gets 10 minutes and they need time and a half, you would add 5 minutes to there. So now they have 15 minutes to take it. So you hit save, and now the student gets an extra 5 minutes on their test. Okay, one more thing I wanted to show you. So imagine, again, you have my test banks, but again, they're not a perfect fit for your class, and you want to change them or modify them a little bit so that you can use them. So the way that you can directly do that, when you're in the quizzes page, right, this lists all the quizzes that you have for your course. You're going to go up here to these 3 dots. This is a very non-intuitive place for this, but you click on these 3 dots, and then you can click on Manage Question Banks here. Why didn't that happen? Oh, okay, great. So, and then this will show you all the question banks that you have for your course. And now you can edit away because this belongs to you now. It won't change anything that's in my course because you copied it over to your course. So now let's look at these enzyme questions. And we have all of these different questions, right? And so you like these questions. But you want to change them slightly. Like you don't necessarily want this one to say Benedict's test. You want it to say Lugel's or whatever, iodine test. So you want to change it up so that this, instead of saying Benedict's test, says iodine. You go in there and you can change the name, you can change the parameters, you can change the picture, and then you click on update question. So that will change any of the questions that are in your test bank so that when you go to use this test bank, you have your own kind of customized questions that work for you. I really hope this made sense. And did I cover everything? How to handle, yep, adding extra time. You can edit questions in the question banks. You can now create a quiz, and you know how to copy over items. Cool. Okay, I hope this helped, and I hope these are helpful. And if there's any other questions, just let me know. Okay, Sarah out.